Fifth point. By nature, man is extremely weak. Yet everything touches him and saddens and grieves him. Also, he is utterly lacking in power. Yet the calamities and enemies that afflict him are extremely numerous. Also, he is extremely wanting, yet his needs are indeed many. Also, he is lazy and incapable, yet life's responsibilities are most burdensome. Also, his humanity has connected him to the rest of the universe. Yet the decline and disappearance of the things he loves and with which he is familiar continually pains him. Also, his reason shows him exalted aims and lasting fruits, yet his hand is short, his life brief, his power slight, and his patience little. It can be clearly understood from this how essential it is for a spirit in this state at the time of Fajr in the early morning to have recourse to and present a petition to the court of an all-powerful one of glory, an all-compassionate, all-beauteous one, through prayer and supplication, to seek success and help from him. And what a necessary point of support it is, so that he can face the things that will happen to him in the coming day and bear the duties that will be loaded on him. The time of Zuhr, just past midday, is the time of the day's zenith and the start of its decline, the time when the daily labours approach their achievement, the time of a short rest from the pressures of work, when the spirit needs a pause from the heedlessness and insensibility caused by toil, and a time divine bounties are manifested. Anyone may understand them. How fine and agreeable, how necessary and appropriate it is for the human spirit to perform the midday prayer, which means to be released from the pressure, shake off the heedlessness, and leave behind those meaningless, transient things, and clasping one's hands at the court of the true bestower of bounties, the eternally self-subsistent one, to offer praise and thanks for all his gifts, and seek help from him, and through bowing to display one's impotence before his glory and tremendousness, and to prostrate and proclaim one's wonder, love, and humility. One who does not understand this is not a true human being. As for the time of Asr, in the afternoon, it calls to mind the melancholy season of autumn, and the mournful state of old age, and the sombre period at the end of time. It is also when the matters of the day reach their conclusion, and the time the divine bounties. It is also when the matters of the day reach their conclusion, and the time the divine bounties, which have been received that day, like health, well-being, and beneficial duties, have accumulated to form a great total, and the time that proclaims through the mighty sun, hinting by starting to sink, that man is a guest official, and that everything is transient and inconstant. Now, the human spirit desires eternity, and was created for it. It worships benevolence, and is pained by separation. Thus, anyone who is truly a human being may understand what an exalted duty, what an appropriate service, what a fitting way to repay a debt of human nature. Indeed, what an agreeable pleasure it is to perform the afternoon prayer, for by offering supplications at the eternal court of the everlasting pre-eternal one, the pre-eternally self-subsistent one, it has the meaning of taking refuge in the grace of unending, infinite mercy, and by offering thanks and praise in the face of innumerable bounties, of humbly bowing before the mightiness of his dominicality, and by prostrating in utter humility before the everlastingness of his Godhead, of finding true consolation of heart and ease of spirit, and being girded ready for worship in the presence of his grandeur. The time of Maghrib at sunset recalls the disappearance amid sad farewells of the delicate, lovely creatures of the world's summer and autumn at the start of winter. It calls to mind the time when through his death man will leave all those he loves in sorrowful departure and enter the grave. It brings to mind when at the death of this world, amid the convulsions of its death agonies, all its inhabitants will migrate to other worlds, and the lamp of this place of examination will be extinguished. It is a time which gives stern warning to those who worship transient, ephemeral beloveds. Thus, at such a time, for the Maghrib prayer, man's spirit, which by its nature is a mirror desirous for eternal beauty, turns its face towards the throne of mightiness of the eternal, undying One, the enduring, everlasting One, who performs these mighty works and turns and transforms these huge worlds, and declaring,
Allahu Akbar.
Allah is most great over these transient beings, withdraws from them. Man clasps his hands in service of his Lord, and raises in the presence of the enduring Eternal One, and through saying,
Alhamdulillah.
all praise be to Allah, he praises and extols his faultless perfection, his peerless beauty, his infinite mercy, through declaring,
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
you alone do we worship, and from you alone we seek help. He proclaims his worship for, and seeks help from, his unassisted dominicality, his unpartnered Godhead, his unshared sovereignty. Then he bows, and through declaring together with all the universe his weakness and impotence, his poverty and baseness, before the infinite majesty, the limitless power and utter mightiness of the enduring Eternal One, he says,
Subhana Rabbi al-Azim.
all glory to my mighty sustainer, and glorifies his sublime sustainer, and prostrating before the undying beauty of his essence, his unchanging sacred attributes, his constant everlasting perfection, through abandoning all things other than him, man proclaims his love and worship in wonder and self-abasement. He finds an all-compassionate Eternal One, and through saying,
Subhana Rabbi al-A'la.
all glory to my exalted sustainer, he declares his most high sustainer to be free of decline and exalted above any fault. Then he testifies Allah's unity and the prophethood of Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. He sits and on his own account offers as a gift to the undying, all-beauteous One, the enduring, all-glorious One, the blessed salutations and benedictions of all creatures, and through greeting Allah's most noble messenger, he renews his allegiance to him and proclaims his obedience to his commands. In order to renew and illuminate his faith, he observes the wise order in the palace of the universe and testifies to the unity of the all-glorious Maker. And he testifies to the messengership of Muhammad the Arabian, peace and blessings be upon him, who was the herald of the sovereignty of Allah's dominicality, the proclaimer of those things pleasing to him, and the interpreter of the signs and verses of the Book of the Universe. To perform the Maghrib prayer is this. So how can someone be considered a human being who does not understand what a fine and pure duty is the prayer at sunset? What an exalted and pleasurable act of service! What an agreeable and pleasing act of worship! What a serious matter, and what an unending conversation! What an unending conversation and permanent happiness it is in this transient guest house. At the time of Isha, at nightfall, the last traces of the day remaining on the horizon disappear, and the world of night enfolds the universe as the all-powerful and glorious One,
مقلب الليل والنهار.
the changer of night and day, turns the white page of day into the black page of night. Through the mighty disposals of his dominicality, it recalls the divine activities of the all-wise One of perfection.